A very good morning to all of you. In the last lecture, we were discussing about budding. It was the last topic that we were discussing about, and the chapter name is Reproduction in Organism. See students, in the last video lecture we have discussed about some topics related to sexual and asexual reproduction. We have discussed the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. We have also discussed about lifespan. What are the phases of lifespan? So these are the important things that we have discussed in the earlier or in the part 1 of this video series. See, on that day I was telling you about budding. Although it was not completed, I have told you that this particular will be continued in the next part of the video. So today I am going to explain you about budding. Now what is budding? See, if we talk about budding, so it is a type of asexual reproduction in which an external outgrowth called bud appears from the parent body, which after maturation detaches itself from the parent body and grows as an individual. This thing is known as budding. Now, if we talk about budding, so this particular phenomena can be seen in various organisms such as Hydra. One of the best example for budding is Hydra. It can also be seen in yeast and various other protozoans. So that can also be seen there. See, basically what happened here, a small protuberance can be seen. See, suppose if we are talking about the yeast, suppose this is a yeast. So here from the parent body of yeast, a small protuberance like this will appear from the parent body. This thing is known as protuberance. If we talk about this protuberance after some time, after getting mature, it will detach from the parent body, or it can remain attached to the parent body throughout the life, forming colonies and like that structures. So this particular protuberance will detach itself, and if it is detaching itself, so it will grow as an individual. Hope that is clear to you. See, if we talk about this budding, so the best example I have told you is Hydra. See how in case of Hydra budding takes place. See, suppose this is a Hydra. So in case of Hydra, an small or an external structure called bud appears from the parent body like this. This again after maturation see, this is the parent body, this is the bud that is maturing. After maturation, it will try to detach itself. It will finally detach itself from the parent body and will grow as an individual. This thing is known as budding in Hydra. This particular thing is example that is known as Hydra. It can be seen here. I have also shown you the example of budding in case of yeast. Okay, how the protuberance occurs in yeast. In case of yeast, a protuberance grows. A protuberance can be seen from the parent body. Now what is protuberance? If we talk about protuberance, so see this, the bud that is appearing, or something that appears at the surface of the parent body, or that sticks with the surface of the parent body, and that particular thing is vegetative, means it will show growth. So that thing is known as protuberance. So that protuberance can be seen in case of budding, and that protuberance after maturation will detach itself from the parent body and will grow as an individual. So this thing is known as budding. Now there is one of the major part that what is the difference between budding and binary fission. See students, this question many times it has been asked in examinations, in various type of examinations, that what is the difference between binary fission and budding. See, if we talk about budding, so budding is also known as torulation. See, budding is also known as torulation. See, if we talk about this torulation or budding, I have already shown you that what is budding, how a particular parental body show protuberance in its external surface, and that protuberance is called bud, which appears, matures, and then detaches itself from the parent body and grows as an individual. Now, if we talk about this binary fission and budding, the difference between binary fission and budding, so let's see what are the differences. See, in case of binary fission, the division is equal. So, equal division can be seen in case of binary fission, whereas if we talk about budding, so there is unequal division. Is that clear, everyone? There is unequal division. Means budding do not require equal division, because an external outgrowth develops from the parent body, and that outgrowth is further matured and detach itself from the parent body and grows as an individual. So that thing is known as unequal division. Now, secondly, if we talk about binary fission, so here one more thing we can see, nuclear division takes place. See, in case of binary fission, if we talk about the nuclear division is further followed by cytoplasmic division or cytokinesis. Cytoplasmic division, or you can also say cytokinesis. In this case, in case of budding, see, nuclear division is required, but this particular detachment does not require necessity for nuclear division. Means it cannot be said that nuclear division will take prior to the formation of bud. Is that clear? So here, if we talk about this, the nuclear division is not prior to the formation of bud. Formation of bud or protuberance. It is better to write protuberance. Alright, so this is the major difference, that is equal division which can be seen in case of binary fission, unequal division in case of budding or torulation. Nuclear division is further followed by cytoplasmic division. That means in case of binary fission, nuclear division is must, and after the division of this nuclear, the cytoplasm divide. But in case of budding, the nuclear division is not must. It cannot be said that nuclear division will take place prior. It is possible that the protuberance can be formed and later on nuclear formation may take place or nuclear division may take place. Alright, now if we talk about the third important difference, so here no protuberance is required or no protuberance can be seen, but in case of budding, protuberance is must. Protuberance is must. See, so these are the basic differences, these are the major differences between binary fission and budding. You can write some more differences, you can add some more differences. If we talk about the binary fission, so here the parent cell does not permit or does not persist. You cannot say that the parent cell will remain as it is in case of binary fission, because here the parent cell itself divides. The parent cell does not persist Is that clear? And here if we talk about budding, so here the parent cell remains, parent cell persists or remains. Is that clear? So these are the basic differences between binary fission and budding. These are the major differences between binary fission and budding. Moving further, students, now we are going to discuss about internal budding. If we talk about internal budding, so in freshwater sponges such as a spongilla, if we talk about archaeocytes, so there is a protective covering to tide over seasonal drought and adverse environmental condition. If we talk about the internal budding, so there are few organisms such as the spongilla. There are some other aquatic organisms that have a hard protective covering. These organisms have these covering to protect themselves from various type of environmental conditions. So this particular organism will form bud interiorly, means the bud will not formed at the surface of the organism, the bud will be formed interiorly, and this type of budding is known as internal budding. See, the basic example for this particular internal budding is a spongilla. You can write a spongilla as the major example of this internal budding. So this much we can write in case of internal budding. Later on, the next thing is gemule formation. But before discussing gemule formation, we shall be discussing an important topic, that is fragmentation. First of all, try to understand what is fragmentation, then only you will come to know about the gemule formation. Then we will discuss about gemule formation, but prior to it, we will be discussing fragmentation. So what is fragmentation? Again, it is a type of asexual reproduction where an organism divides into fragments and each fragment grows as an individual. Here, see, listen to me once again. Fragmentation is a type of asexual reproduction where an organism divides into fragments and each fragments grow as an individual. See, suppose here, if we talk about an organism, see, such as planaria, so this particular organism will divide internally like this, and this particular division, this particular fragment later on will detach itself from the parental body and grow as an individual. See, if we talk about this planaria, so major differences can be seen. This particular organism here, it will divide. This particular organism will grow like this. Like this, the two new individuals are formed over here. This thing is known as fragmentation. This thing is known as fragmentation. See, here if we talk about fragmentation, so it can take place internally or externally, no matter. Fragmentation has to take place. It may take place internally, as in case of planaria. It also take place externally in case of various type of protozoans, echinoderms, and various other organisms such as lichens. See, in case of lichen, this particular fragmentation take place, and it also confirms the division of both the symbionts. See, what are lichens? If we talk about lichens, so all of you must be knowing that lichen is nothing else but the combination of algal growth and fungal growth. Means algae as well as fungi, that is known as phycobiont and mycobiont. These together forms the lichen. So if a certain division is taking place of fragmentation, suppose it is multiplying by fragmentation, so in case of fragmentation, it has to be cleared that whether both the symbionts are occurring in both the regenerated part or not. So it is must. It has to be checked that whether this thing is taking place or not. Is that clear? So that is known as fragmentation. The fragmentation can be seen in various other organisms of echinoderms. See, in case of echinoderms, if we talk about echinodermata, so in case of echinodermata, this fragmentation is known as fissiparity. Fissiparity. In case of echinoderms, we call it fissiparity. Alright students, so this was all about fragmentation, nothing more to discuss about fragmentation. Now after fragmentation, there is one more topic, that is regeneration. Although there are few more topics after regeneration also, but here an important thing, that is regeneration. Students, so here we are going to discuss about regeneration. If we talk about regeneration, what is regeneration? See, in fragmentation, the body divides into fragment. But in case of regeneration, it is a type of asexual reproduction where restoration or new growth by an organism or organ or tissue is seen. Is that clear, everybody? Regeneration is a phenomena or is a process of asexual reproduction where a regeneration of certain organs, tissues, or the whole individual, you can say, will take place. Although the whole individual is not going to form as it is, here the thing is the tissue or cell basically regenerates and it forms the new individual. So this thing is known as regeneration, everybody. If we talk about regeneration, here the example is planaria. Okay, you can write planaria in case of regeneration, because in case of planaria, the body detaches itself and new individual grows. Suppose this is a planaria. So here in case of planaria, the body will detach like this and this body will grow. Like this. This thing is known as regeneration. That means the parental body regenerates and form new organism. This thing is known as regeneration. It is a kind of asexual reproduction that can be seen in different organisms. It can be seen in planaria. It can be seen in various other organisms, such as Hydra also. See, in Hydra also regeneration can be seen. So these are the examples. These are the basic examples of regeneration. I hope you have understood these terms: regeneration, fragmentation. I have told you budding, I have told you fission. So here it is completed with the regeneration, fragmentation, budding. Now we are going to discuss about gemule. See, if we talk about gemule, so this particular gemule formation can be seen in sponges. See, I have already told you, in case of a spongilla, there is internal budding. If we talk about this internal budding, see, this is the internal part or the internal portion of the cell. If we talk about this one, this is the external covering. Here, like this, spore formation or spores will develop, or you can say internal buds will develop like this, and these buds later on will move out of the sponges. Means once there is a huge number of buds formed inside the cell, so this particular cell will burst and these buds will grow as a new individual. Is that clear, everybody? This thing is known as gemule formation. See, it is important in case of spongilla or in case of sponges. See, various things means spicules are also present, archaeocytes are present. See, if we talk about this thing, so this is known as archaeocytes. Archaeocytes. There are few spicules present like this. Like this, you can make spicules. These are known as spicules. So these are also present. So these archaeocytes will mature and will grow as new individuals. Each archaeocytes will develop as new individual, and this type of reproduction is asexual reproduction. It will take place in water only. Basically in water, this type of reproduction can be seen. I hope you have understood these terms. So we have discussed about fission, budding, we have discussed about fragmentation, we have discussed about regeneration, we have discussed about gemule formation. Now the next thing is spore formation. Next thing is spore formation. See, if we talk about this spore formation, so what is spore formation? See, this can be seen in yeast. Basically in yeast, generally yeast reproduce through spore formation. Spore formation is also a type of asexual reproduction where a single organism produces spores, and these spores develops as an individual. See, in case of fungi or in case of yeast, this type of spore formation is known as sporogenesis. This type of spore formation is known as sporogenesis or formation of spore. This particular spore is a reproductive cell and is capable of forming new individual. So this type of reproduction is known as spore formation. It is common in case of yeast or it is common in case of fungi. See, spores are produced by various type of fungi, plant, bacteria. Some of the bacteria also show spore formation. They reproduce through spore formation. So this type of thing can be seen in bacteria also, in fungi, in some of the green plant. Basically, it is one of the major example or one of the major method of reproduction in case of fungi. Is that clear, everyone? Alright, so moving further, we are going to discuss about one of the major topic related to this chapter, that is vegetative propagation. See, if we talk about vegetative propagation, what is vegetative propagation? Before starting that, we will discuss about various aspects of vegetative propagation, but that will be discussed in the next upcoming video lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.